Oh, I don't know about you. Why do things happen? I mean, some people believe in the chaos theory. It's all convoluted. It just kind of happens. And other people believe there's a divine plan. Or maybe there's a combination of the two. I don't know. Maybe I'll figure it out someday. But at any rate, the first time I came to the City Beautiful, no, it wasn't actually the City Beautiful. Okay, it was at Disney World. I was on leave from the Air Force. I came with some friends. Disney World just opened up. So it's not really coming to Orlando. And the next time I came and I was given directions to go down this road and that road and this road. And I was going to go work on a commercial. And I ended up at some place called Bay Hills. And it was in the middle of nowhere. And I got to work on this commercial with Arnold Palmer, who was a very kind, generous, genteel individual. We drank lemonade and tea mixed together and had a great time. And then I left and went back and you know, as an actor, you can go anywhere and do pretty much anything, which is what I did. And I was living on the west coast of Florida, so I traveled down to Miami, and every once in a while I'd come to Orlando and go to Tampa and Jacksonville and get to go to New York and LA every once in a while. But at any rate, my wife then got a job as producing, or actually not producing, but coordinating a production called The Adventures of Superboy, which was filming out at the Hollywood Studios in Disney, and or at least that's where their headquarters were. And so we got an apartment up here and started hanging out in the City Beautiful. And after a while, you know, I had more and more jobs here in Orlando and travel around Miami and Tampa and Jacksonville, and that's what you have to do as an actor in Orlando or in Florida. And then we decided to put down roots here in Orlando. So we bought a house out in some little place called Ocoee, and it was close to the interstate. That's what we liked about it, the turnpike, and it could hop on, and I could go just about anywhere at any time. And it was in March 11th, 1993, that the storm of the century, that's what they called it, came barreling through Orlando. After the winds and the rain subsided and it went down, the temperature dropped 40 degrees from the low 80s to the low 40s, just like that. And that was the day my wife had this terrible, terrible backache. She was pregnant. And when we called the doctor, he said, get her to the hospital immediately. So he was said to go to Arnold Palmer Hospital. So that's where we went. And they immediately tried to stop her labor because she was 3 months within delivery, so she would be premature. So they immediately tried to stop the labor. But then after they did a amniocentesis, they discovered she had Group B strep. Now, Group B strep, for those you don't know, affects 0.25% of the female population. It doesn't matter. It's not usually life-threatening, or it doesn't have any effect at all unless it gets in the birth canal or somehow in the fluid. And that was the case for our baby and my wife. And if they didn't get the baby out immediately, the baby would die, my wife would die. So they immediately tried to re-induce labor. So for the next 24 exhausting, grueling hours, back and forth, and she was finally about ready to deliver. And it wasn't like anything, of course, that we planned. You know, we did the Lamaze, and that was all out the window, everything. And I guess, I don't know if it was to calm me or to prepare me. I guess it was to prepare me. Some lady took me into a room, and I could remember the lights above me were just kind of staticky, the fluorescent lights, and she was explaining to me all the things that can go wrong because the baby was 3 months premature. You know, the baby could possibly not be able to see because too much oxygen or not enough oxygen, or maybe she wouldn't be able to hear, or have cognitive disabilities, have breathing problems, have heart problems, have all these. So after all that, then they ushered me into where the delivery was, and the baby happened. And it was just happened. There was no gnashing of teeth or, all the things that were prepared for it. Just the baby came, no sound. And then there was this team of physicians and nurses and technicians, and they immediately gathered around, took the baby. I didn't even get to see the baby. And they took the baby, it's already? Oh my goodness. All right, they took the baby over to the side, and they started working on the baby, putting all these tubes in. Oh my goodness, I couldn't. And then the doctor comes over with this round face, these glasses on, and youngish face, and he says, 50-50 chance at best. We did all we can do. She's now in God's hands. Well, I didn't know anything about God at that time. But at any rate, when I first saw the baby, she's in this plastic cage, and I look at her. She's all of 1 pound, 14 ounces. And at that time, that was a birth weight that didn't last very long. She extended from the tip of my finger to here on my arm. And I looked at her. She looked like a little bird without any wings that had fallen out of a nest. And as I looked at her, and I just thought, oh my goodness, what is going on? I'm so grateful, so thankful, and so blessed to say that after 25 years, she is a beautiful young lady. And I wish to thank, and you know what? Arnold Palmer Hospital happens to be one of the most preeminent neonatal units in the entire state of Florida at the time. They were flying babies in from all over. Had she been born anywhere else, the flight or the delay, she wouldn't have made it. But she was born here at this hospital. Thank you, Dr. Hardy. Thank you, Dr. Alexander, who's still working at Arnold Palmer. And thank you, Arnold and Winnie Palmer, and this beautiful city, beautiful city of Orlando. Thank you very much. Thank you.